Suggested a little bit today, actually, about how he wanted to change his mindset from maybe less campaigning for the title game and more just focusing a little bit every day on getting better. Did he consult with the coaching staff when he was going to make that decision, and what's the trickle-down effect been on the mindset of the rest of the coaching staff?
Well, I don't think there's ever been a time when we haven't thought about getting better every day.
Right.
I think that's been all of in our room, and I'm sure in the offensive room also. Getting better every day is what you do, as a coach, as a player. You try to coach better every day, and you try to, hopefully make your players better every day. So, I don't think there was a trickle-down effect at all. I think that's what the mindset in our rooms are anyway.
Does it change the way you guys talk to your players?
No.
In the team meeting room? Okay.
No. I'm. We go to work every day, and we got one objective: be better today at the end than we were at the beginning.
Coach Meyer thought he personally last week was spending too much time thinking about the national championship race. That's what he was indicating, that he thought maybe he was worrying too much about that stuff. Had you personally worried about any of that stuff, that you guys were on the outside looking in? And
No.
You don't even think about that stuff.
Sometimes as position coaches and as coordinators, whatever you do, you get so narrowed in on making sure you're doing well for that week. Because as you guys know, anybody can beat anybody. If you're not prepared, you just focus on one game at a time. And it's cliche, I know it, but it's true.
Right.
I mean, it really is. It's true. You want to make sure that you're better at the end of today than you were at the beginning of the day. And if you are, and you get ready when they kick that ball and they wind it up, then you hope you're feeling good about yourself.
But this is all the fans are talking about. I know you guys, that's probably the last thing on your mind is what the fans are talking about. But this is all the fans are talking about right now.
I promise you, I won't listen to what you guys write or say, and I haven't looked at a newspaper in about a year. So,
I got you.
I mean,
Your subscription lapse or what?
I don't even know if I take it, to be honest with you.
Hey, Robert, I just want to ask you, though, but you walk in yesterday or today, what is the message to this defense? Obviously, you guys were playing extremely well Saturday, and then y'all weren't. And so what's sort of like you're dealing with injuries, at the linebacker spots. Bosa got banged. I mean, you know all this stuff.
Right, sure.
Well, what's sort of the message this week? I mean, retrench or?
I think the message is just what we just said. The guys that go to practice tomorrow get better tomorrow, and be better at the end of tomorrow than they were when they came into the building. And I think that's just the message on our coaching staff. And I don't feel like there's whether we played bad, played good. I thought we played pretty good. You think about it now. I mean, we scored 60 points, and we scored on defense. I think we got 9 points on defense, 2 interceptions. I thought we played pretty decent. I mean, when you play a team that's going to hurry up, I mean, that's a pretty good quarterback we played. I think he was number 1 in the league. In passing, he throws it 50 times and we give up less than 300 yards. I'll take that.
But with that in mind, though, you think back to last year in the Indiana game. You guys have that game sort of put away, and then they come back. I mean, how much do you dwell on that this week? Clearly, these guys can play some offense with some folks. Last week was maybe an aberration. We'll find out, I guess. But sort of what's the message going into that game?
But hopefully we're better at this point now than we were at that point last year. I hope we are. I woke up this morning and said, we dropped 6 interceptions last year in the ball game. We dropped 6 interceptions. Different ball game if we catch better. So that's one thing that we got to make sure when we go to practice tomorrow that we catch the interceptions that we get. So if we do that, I think we're better. And I think we're better defense than we were overall than we were last year.
I was going to say, do you ever worry about a group losing its edge, though, when you kind of go through what y'all went through a little bit in the middle of that game Saturday? I mean, because y'all had some pretty good things going on there for 2 games.
No, I think we just keep going and keep playing and know that that team over there may make a play. What we've got to learn to do is when a team makes a play, we got to keep playing. That's the growth of this defense is continuing to play when a team makes a play. Don't let one bad play turn to the next, and that's what we're continuing to grow with.
Everett, can you scout Indiana for us? I mean, obviously they're using two quarterbacks.
Right.
The running backs coming off an injury, but they seem to have a lot of weapons.
They do. They're talented at skill positions. They do a nice job. I know Coach Wilson does an unbelievable job with the offense. It's the same offense he ran when he was at Oklahoma. When I was at Texas, same offense. It's high tempo, so he tries to limit what you can play defensively. So it's a big challenge for us, but it's not much different than what our offense does. So we do have some familiarity with it a little bit, the speed part of it from practicing in the spring and doing camp. But I think they do a good job. I mean, we've got to be in the right spots and line up correctly and play fundamentals.
Does that get tougher to face this time of year, that getting a playoff every 20 seconds because of the wear and tear that you've experienced, or does the experience mean?
I think the experience helps you. It should help us. It should help us from going against our offense, from playing several teams that do it anyway. Hopefully, we've got a little bit better hold on it.
Everett, what's Christian's role over this last month and a half for you guys?
More of a leadership for our defense, especially, and in my room particularly, safeties and the stars. A guy that can lend some experience to some of the guys that haven't played as much as he's played, and be kind of he's still the spark plug on our defense. I mean, he still is. I mean, so I think he has a tremendous value.
When you guys have him on the sideline, we've seen, I guess, for these home games, he goes out as a captain. And how you call him the spark plug? How influential is he on the sideline, even when he can't play? What is he?
Very, very, very influential. I mean, he is like I said, he's still the guy that everybody on that defense looks to. So he's the guy that if something isn't going good, he's going to let everybody know that it isn't going good and why it isn't going good. If it's going good, then he's going to be a positive role model on that sideline. So he has a tremendous role, and I think our players feel good when he's there. And I think he provides a lot of, glue to our football team.
Do you know if his injury timeline would allow him to come back for anything?
I don't know that. I hope so. I mean, I hope so for him, for us and him. I mean, two-way street on that, because he does bring so much to our football team.
He's still trying to overcome his loss defensively.
I think anytime you lose a guy like that, you work every day to try to match it. It's one of those deals where you're really trying to match what he brings to practice, what he brings to the room, those things. I mean, it's never a dull moment with Christian in the room, and we probably don't have as lively of meetings now as we used to. But I think the players, we're always trying to get better. I'm proud of the guys and the way they played in his absence. But we always miss, a guy with that kind of spark and that kind of energy.
What are your thoughts on Von Bell so far? I mean, I know his future is bright, but what do you see out of him so far?
A young guy that's got a lot of upside and a lot of ability. I think he's done a really good job of learning this game at this level. I should play him more than I have, and I've been told I need to by a guy that's a lot higher than me. I think he's done a really good job. He's what we thought he was. I mean, he's got ability. He's what we thought he was, and he just so happened to playing in a position behind a guy that's playing pretty good for us, Tyvis Powell. So and it's hard to take that guy off the field.
So is it close though? You mentioned Coach Meyer. I assume that's who you're talking about. Is telling you to play more. Is it pretty close between Tyvis and Vaughn?
Well, it's not so much that. It's just Tyvis is playing so many snaps and on so many special teams. Tyvis played 100+ snaps last week, and that's way too much for Tyvis. And Vaughn should have taken some of those nickel reps from him. But if you get in the game, like you said, if things start to turn in the ball game, when do you take out a starter?
Right.
So I have to do a better job of getting Vaughn in the game earlier and letting him play.
Yet you guys are always playing the futures game a little bit because your back end's going to be gone next year.
Sure.
I mean,
Sure.
Is that tough? I mean, just when you evaluate stuff like that to try to get guys in games.
Well, what you do is the pitch count in a game where you feel pretty good about, then you can get the guy out and put your guys in. But when the game is still kind of up in the air, then it's hard to get that guy in the game. But you like to. I still need to. I still need to get him in the game because he's one of those guys that deserve to be in the game.
Everett, real quick, what stands out about their quarterback, Sudfeld? Obviously, they play two guys, but he's sort of the primary, the starter, where you want to call it, the big-time pitcher. What stands out about him?
I think just a good grasp of what they want to do offensively. He just seems to be, a guy that can get them in the right place. So, when you're running a fast-paced offense, you got to have a guy that can control the game from the field. And it looks like he has a really good knowledge of how to control the game from the field.
Would you say that, are they about hitting the edges? I mean, just kind of like just trying to work, little seams and things like that. Well, how would you describe what they do offensively?
They're running plays. They don't care what you're in. They know if they continue to run them fast, all right, then you're going to have to play base defense. You're going to have to line up and play, and be what you line up in has to be, you have to be comfortable with.
Yeah.
So they know what they're getting. So they're just running plays. They don't care whether the three techniques here or shades here. They're just running plays. If it doesn't work, they just move to the next one. They just keep going. So it's an offense about volume more so than about really about execution all the time. It's about volume. How many plays how fast can they wear you out?
Thanks, man. All you guys deal with special teams. How stretched or how thin are you guys stretched right now on special teams? And what can you do about it?
Keep developing young guys to fit those roles. When you go recruit a recruiting class, you hope that those guys can provide depth and guys that can help you on special teams. And we've got to do a better job as a coaching staff ourselves is getting guys in the game and playing them and developing and developing trust in those guys.
When you watch the special teams tape, obviously Saturday was not your guys' best performance. Was it just a little things off, or big things?
I think little things. That we can. They're all things that we can correct, and we have to, and we will.
Everett, how do you gauge? I know a lot of people didn't want to kind of say that some of the struggles you guys had on Saturday were due to having a lot of holes from not having players that you were going to count on the field. I mean, how hard is that to overcome? I mean, to have all these injuries and to have people filling in every week, it just seems like, I don't know. How tough would that be?
Well, I mean, you hope the guys that you put in the game are can handle the job that you give them, their job description. And I think our guys are, they play hard. We don't ever have a problem with effort, and that's a good thing. We don't ever. Right now, we don't have that. Knock on wood. There are teams across the country probably having problems with effort. Guys not playing real hard, but we don't. And when you have that as a foundation, guys that'll play hard, then you have the ability to help them get better and improve technique and fundamentals, and that's what you go to work for every day. So we just got to continue to develop guys.
Going back to Christian.
Couple more questions for Coach.
Is he making observations to the coaches or giving you guys suggestions at all? Is he acting like a coach out there at times?
I think he does. I think he sits in the room and he talks about, hey, are they doing this from last year? Are they doing this? How are we going to, so he's into the game more mentally as far as the coaching aspect and what he sees on tape. And he's giving that, advice to not only us, but to the other safeties.
Is there any one instance in particular you can remember when you thought, wow, maybe this guy's got a future in coaching?
Well, I think what he has is a future in whatever he wants to be, and whether it's coaching, whether it's business, whether it's, whatever it is, because he's a bright young guy that has a personality that, kind of, everybody really likes and likes being around.
One of every single coach has got a cold? Is that true?
Yeah.
Has there been much talk at all, or you may have mentioned this already, about Christian possibly coming back for the bowl game?
It's too early to tell, but I hope he has the opportunity. We don't know that. We hope he has the opportunity. Yeah.
Pitt Brown's kind of played everywhere, playing his last home game.
Right.
Saturday. Can you talk about the impact he's made for Christian?
He's been a valuable part of our football team since we've been here. He's been one of those guys that, like you said, we put him at dime, we put him at nickel, we put him at safety, free and strong, and he's been a guy that can do the job. And You know, he's one of those guys that we'll miss because of his value to the football team. You know, you talk about guys add value to a program. He's added value to our program.
What's the difference between him and Christian, just in their style of play?
I mean, I don't think there's a whole lot of this. Christian is a more volatile, you know, that type of guy. I think Pitt's more, you know, I'm going to do my job and do it correctly every time.
Great. Coach, thank you very much.
Thanks, Everett.